Greetings everybody. Myself Pilkumar Pat. Sometimes string problems seems harmless in first view, but the condition that it needs to fulfill makes it much harder to solve. Welcome to LeetCode problem solving series. Today we are going to solve the same type of problem 1957. Delete characters to make fancy string. We will start by understanding the problem properly and then move to the brute force approach to solve the problem and then move to the most optimal solution for the problem. So let's start by understanding what our problem is trying to say. I'll show and make you understand by giving an example. We are given an input string, okay, and we need to check if it is fancy or not. If yes, then just return the string. Otherwise, make it fancy and then return the string. So first let's understand what is a fancy string. A fancy string is a string which don't contain similar characters in a row for 3 times. Okay, as you can see, this is our input string, which is LeetCode. It contains 3 in a row, okay, 3 times. So it is not a fancy string. So we need to delete characters which like that much times which are required to make it a fancy string. Now there are only 3 characters in a row. So for making it fancy, we just need to delete one character, which is E, single time. So after deleting that, we will have normal actual spelling of LeetCode, which is a fancy string now. So we will return that directly. This is our simple task to solve for this problem. So let's just move for the brute force approach to solve this problem. So let's just think how we can solve this problem in the most straightforward idea. Okay, so as you can see, the thing which is mentioned in our problem is that we need to delete a character which is coming again and again for 3 times or more. We just need to do that again and again till we don't have any character which comes repeatedly for 3 times in our string. Okay, and then we just need to return that string. Now many of you would just think of using the dot erase method or like that to remove the character from the original string. Okay, like while iterating through the complete string, you would be thinking that when the character repeats for the 3rd time, we will just use dot erase method to remove that character. You are correct. I also tried that method, but for now it will run properly for the main test cases of the problem. But there are also edge cases which are present internally, which comes when we submit the solution. Okay, and I have tried the problem already. So after using that method, the last edge case, okay, there are a total of 306 test cases for this problem internally, and from all of them, the exact last edge case which contains, let me just show you by writing that. Okay, that last edge case is this one. Okay, the string, and it contains this way. Okay, this is the complete test case, which is the last like 306th edge case. And in this, or actually the string is much larger and it contains only Z. All of the characters are Z and Z only. So in that test case, this method that you are thinking of, it will not work. Okay, because dot erase is a method which is much costly for using for strings for these type of long test cases. Okay, and also we are iterating through the while loop. We are using that dot erase method, which is already costly, using inside a while loop, which makes it much and much harder and much dangerous to use for solving this problem. So you can test it your way, but it will not work for this problem. So the actual thing is that the thing which we learn from this method and this explanation is that we don't need to modify the string on the way. Okay, we can. Okay, we will see it afterwards, but normally for the brute force approach, we don't need to we can say modify the string on its way. We will just make a completely new string, and then after storing all the characters such a way that it makes the answer string fancy, we will just return that string at the end of the code. That's a simple thing, the most straightforward idea for the brute force part. So as I mentioned, we have a string which will be returned at the end of the code, and we will make it by iterating through the loop. Okay, so for each character in the given input string, what we will do is we will just check that if the current character is equal to, we can say, already present characters. Now, the idea that I'm going to use for this approach is that we will iterate through the complete string. Okay, and if the character that we are on, if it's already present in the answer string, then we'll just check that if it has come already 2 times, minimum of 2 times. If it has already came 2 times in the answer string, then we are don't like we are just not gonna do anything with that character. We will just continue with that iteration and we'll move to the next iteration. Okay, and if it's not present, then we will just add that to the answer string. For that, see, like let me just give this example only. Like if we start by iterating from the first character, okay, as I mentioned, the method that I'm going to use, answer string will be empty at this character, so we just don't need to check. Okay, because our actual check is to just check if there are 3 continuous characters or not. Now for checking that, we at least need 3 characters. Okay, so you would have just realized what I'm trying to say. For checking the condition, we at least need 3 characters. So for 3 characters, we first need to add 3 characters to our answer string. Okay, so for that, the if condition that we are going to use for checking the actual condition, there we will also add another condition, that if the answer string contains at least of 2 characters. Okay, because we are going to check the third character. If it's equal to the already present 2 characters, then just don't add that. Otherwise, add that. Simple. So for that, we will have a pointer, or we can say a variable, which will contain the size of answer. Okay, let's just name it as, we can say, count, or let's just name it as n. Okay, now it will contain the size of the current size of the answer string. Okay, that's why I'm declaring it inside the loop, so that we can have a dynamic count of how much is the size of answer. Okay, because it will be changed inside the loop. So inside the loop only, we will use the variable to check what is the current actual size of the answer string. Now inside the if condition, we will just use this check also. If the current size is greater or equal to 2, then and then only use this if condition. Okay, using AND operator, we are just telling it that if this works, if this is true, then and then only move to the next checks of the if condition. Otherwise, just leave the if condition. That's all. Now this way, as I mentioned, we are first storing these starting 2 characters. Then and then only we are going to start checking if the string we are having answer is fancy or not. Okay, so after storing 2 characters, what we are going to do is that we are going to just check if the current character that we are on, if it's equal to the already present last character, and it is also equal to the already present last to last character. Like let me just show you by dry run. Okay, for this character, the if will not run because n will be 0, the answer size will be 0, so it will be directly added. For the next character, n will be equal to 1, so also the if condition will not run. For this condition, like for this character, sorry, the n will be equal to 2, so the if condition will run. Okay, and there it will check that the current character, if it's equal to answer of n minus 1. Now n is 2 here, so answer of 2 minus 1, answer of 1, which is the second character. So if both of them are equal or not, so yes, it is equal. So after that checking, it's true. So after that, we have AND operator. After that, again, there is one condition, which is answer of n minus 2. So answer of n minus 2, which is answer of 2 minus 2, answer of 0, which is our first character, which is z. So if this and this character is equal, yes, both of these are also equal. So this if condition will run after that. After checking all of these 3 conditions, this if will run. Now if this is the case, that already present 2 characters are equal to the current character, then we are just not gonna add this to the answer string, so that the answer string stays fancy. Okay, I hope you are understanding what I'm trying to say. That if the current character is not already equal to the already present two characters, then just don't do anything. Just move to the next character. Because if we will add this current character, then the fanciness of the answer string that we are going to return will just be removed, which we don't want because we need to return a string which is fancy. So for maintaining the fanciness of the answer string, we will just don't add this character to our answer string. Simple. And for not adding, or like as I mentioned, for not doing anything, we will just use the keyword which is continue, which will just skip the current iteration. Okay, I hope you would have understood what I'm trying to say. So if this if condition is not running, we will just add that character to the answer string. So let's just add that character to the answer string. Simple. This way, at the end of the complete loop, we will have an answer string completely built from scratch after iterating from starting to the end, which will contain only and only unique characters, like only repeated two times, maximum of two times, which will make that complete string completely fancy, which we need to return at the end of the program. So let's just return the answer string. Now you would have understand what I was trying to say through the complete process. So yeah, it works for these test cases. Let's just check the internal test case. Yeah, it works. So as you can see, this was the complete brute force approach to solve the problem, where we are completely building a new string inside the code. After continuously checking if the current character is already present minimum of two times in the answer string, then just don't add that. This way, we will have a new string rebuilt from scratch after iterating from the given input string, which will be completely fancy and only have characters from our input string. This way, our problem can be solved. But as I mentioned, it is the brute force way, because you can see the runtime. Okay, the memory is good because we are only using a single variable answer and another variable n2. So this makes the memory much we can say optimized, but the time is obviously not optimized. You can see it's 39 milliseconds, which is too much bad. 16% beating only is too much bad. So we will make this into an optimized solution now. So for optimized approach, what we can do is that till now, currently, we were making a completely new string where we will storing only and only valid characters. Instead of that, we can just do it like we can have two pointers, I and j, where I will be used by us to read through the complete string and j will be used by us to build the complete answer string for which for returning us at the end of the we can say code. And by using both of that, what we can do is instead of making a new string, we can just rewrite the complete string. Okay, let me just explain you properly. We can have as I mentioned, we will have two pointers I and j, where I will be used by us to read through the complete given input string and j will be used by us to build the again from the start to the end, the rebuilding the string according to our condition. How? For example, we can if we start by iterating from the first character of the second test case, where we will have a set of three characters, because we are having same consecutive same characters which are three times. So this set of characters is invalid according to our condition, because in our return string we should not have three consecutive same characters. So this is invalid. So according to our approach, in the optimized approach, what we will do is that we will skip this complete position, like the position which have invalid set of characters. Invalid set of characters in the sense the three consecutive same characters. If that is a set which is coming for the current iteration, then we will skip that position and move to the next one. Otherwise, if we don't have that invalid set of characters and we have a valid set, like for this we can say second A, we have a valid set A and B, which contains no characters coming three times consecutively. For that type of set, we will use the j pointer to move that valid character to the front of the input given string. Like as I mentioned, we are completely modifying the original given string only. That way, at the end of the approach, we can just do we can say we can solve the complete problem by rewriting the given string only. That way we can save memory and time too, because in the previous approach we were using a new string to return at the end, But in this approach, we are using the given string only as our answer container, making this approach completely and extremely faster and optimized according to memory too. So let's just move to the code part. For the ones which haven't understood what I was trying to say, I will again make you understand during the code part only. So as I mentioned, we will have two pointers. One will be j, which will be used by us to rebuild the string from the start, and another will be I. Okay, I will be, again, it will be the iterator which will be used by us in the for loop. So we'll declare that in the loop itself. Also, we will have some edge cases obviously, which contains a single character in the input string, like one or no characters. For them, for like we can say dealing with them, we will have an if condition at the start of the code only, that if s.size is less than 3, then just don't do anything and return the complete given string only. Okay, this way we can deal with that type of edge cases containing single or no characters in the string. Okay, as I mentioned, for the other cases, for making this approach, we will have another pointer which will be I, which will be used by us to read the string. For reading, again, as you would have just realized, we will be using a for loop which will run till not the last character but the last third character, because again you would have just realized that we are checking next character and next to next characters too. So if we run till the last character of the given string, then we won't have the next and next to next characters, giving us an out of bounds error. Okay, for we can say staying out of that bound error, we can use -2 in the given for loop that we will be using. So instead of -2, again we will have +2 on the other side. The reason for this is also mentioned in the previous video too. You can check that out. Otherwise, I'll just say it again, that if we use -2 with the s.size, okay, both of them are same. Okay, you know, mathematically we are just moving the -2 to this other side, okay, which keeps the complete condition the same. But the thing that changes for the code part is that dot size operator is the operator which provides positive answers only, because it's checking the size of the string. So either it will return 0, otherwise it will return the size of the given string. So if we have the positive answer, for example, we have a case which have 0 or 1 character only. So if we do 0 -2 or 1 -2, it can give us negative characters, which can't be used for loops, because it makes the loop completely invalid and gives us an error. So for staying out of that error too, we will move -2 to the other side and write it as +2. Now, again, after that, we will iterate, like use plus operator for the loop, because we are moving from start to the end. Now, as I mentioned, if we have a condition where the current character is equal to the next character of the string, and as well as means and operator, current character is equal to the next to next we can say character 2, sorry for that, next to next character 2, then we will just completely continue, we will just skip that position. Otherwise, if we don't have that, what we can do is that we will just store that character in the forward part of the string, for which we are using the j, a pointer. Okay, we will store it. So s of j equal to s of I, and we will move that pointer to the next we can say character or the next position of the string. We need to do that manually because it is out of the for loop. So we need to maintain it manually only. Okay, now let me give the example which will be done when we make it pass through our optimal code. Okay, so that you can have a better understanding. If we pass this test case through this complete optimized code, okay, it's completed. I'm just giving an example to make you understand what I'm doing. So if we start by iterating from the first character, okay, we will have a set a, and a. It is an invalid set, so the code will skip and by using the continue keyword. Now for the next iteration, where we have I equal to 1 and j equal to 0, because this else hasn't run. Okay, So j equal to 0 and I equal to 1, we will have the set AAB. It is a valid set because it don't contain any repeated characters 3 times. So else will inside the for loop. And inside else, what will happen? S of 0 will be equal to current character, which is A. Okay, the second character of our string at the first index. So what will happen, that the A which was at the first we can say index or 0th index of the string, that will be rewritten with the next A, and that way the complete A which was on the first index, it will be moved to the front part of the string, like to the 0th index. That way at the end of the code, we can have this complete string moved to the first or we can say front part. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the valid characters will be moved to the first part or the front part of the string, the exact same input string. This way, as I mentioned, at the end we will have the exact string which we need to return. Okay, so after doing all this, at the end of the for loop, we will have the string which we can return very easily without any worries. Now, instead of directly returning it, we have still 2 to 3 things which we need to do in before returning. Okay, you would have seen that we have used here +2. So the last 2 characters would not be used inside this for loop. So we need to add that too, because otherwise they will like not just processed. They won't be processed inside the string. Okay, for processing them, we will manually write the code for both of that last characters. We will do it this way: s of j equal to the last to last character, which will be s dot size minus 2, the last to last character, like last second. Again we will do j plus plus, and again we will process the last character. S of j equal to s of s dot size minus 1, which will make us process, like help us process the last character of the string. Again we will do j plus plus. This way j will contain the value of the number of valid characters. Okay, because it is not doing anything when we have invalid characters. So we will have a count of valid characters, and all the valid characters will be moved to the first part, like front part of the string. So you will be thinking, what will be at the end of the string? End of the string will be completely empty. It will have like a space. This way it will have space, this empty part, it will have that at the end characters. Okay, because we have resized it, so all of them will have been moved to the first front part of the string. And we don't want that empty spaces, so we will remove that spaces too. For removing that, we have an operator called dot resize. What this will do, dot resize does that it removes all the string from the end of the given string, like the string which will pass. It will remove all that white spaces which we have at the end. And for that, the syntax is like this: s dot resize, and inside the brackets we will pass the index from which we need to check for the white spaces. Now we will pass here j, because j is the count which contains valid characters. So let's say we have in this only, okay, this have 9 characters, like s dot size is 9 for the input string, and after processing this test case through the code, we will have j equal to 8, because there are 8 valid characters and 1 character which is e, which is highlighted here too, it is invalid. So this place, okay, after processing of the complete code, this complete part LeetCode, the word which it will be moved to the front part, and the last e will have empty space. For removing that, we will pass that j, which is the count of valid characters, which is 8. After passing that, dot resize will what will be do is that it will remove the space which is at the 8th index of the string. This way we can remove the white spaces too. So at the end we have the same string, okay, completely changed according to the condition that we want to check. Okay, you would have understood what I was trying to say during the complete optimal approach. This way we can optimize the solution which we have done in the brute force part. Okay, let me just for the edge cases which we have inside the lead engine. So yeah, as you can see, okay, just please just forget this runtime, because I have a bad internet connection which is like being a too much big hectic problem for me. So the you would be thinking that why the runtime is too much low. It is low because there is a problem with my internet connection. Okay, I will be attaching both of these codes in the description of the video. You can test them by yourself. It will for sure give 100%. Yeah, so this were the complete solutions for solving this problem. Okay, if you like the way I explained and mentioned the solution for the problem, you can like the video and subscribe to the channel too. Other problems of LeetCode, I have like did 20 to 25 problems till now in the LeetCode problem solving series. That playlist is also mentioned in the description of the video, and more problems will also be added in the future. So stay along with me. For that, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to connect with me personally, you can use the connections link which are also present in the description of the video. Thank you for staying till the end. If you have any feedback, you can mention them in the comments below. Any feedback, positive or negative too. Thank you very much for staying till the end. Thank you.